Hey everybody, it's Tensei here, back with another thoughts and opinion piece just for you. This week's topic is one that I've been seeing as a trend for a while now, which I've seen people mention it, in passing, like on Reddit, and maybe one or two, people have done a commentary piece on it or comment on it somewhere. But it's the fact that now you no longer put in button combinations, or you don't finish the game, or you don't finish a level fast enough to unlock them, but rather you pay for cheat codes in games. Has anybody else noticed this? I'm sure you have. Someone call Ellie Goulding because they've stopped talking in codes. And I am all for the idea of starting this phenomenon as the Ellie Goulding effect, just because of that one song she has that I don't even think has a music video, but I'll put a link to it below so you can get the joke. But anyway, I'm on the DLC listing page for Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Now Atlas is, what most people would consider a smaller developer. They're just now starting to get to prominence as Persona 5 is of course on its way, coming out in February. But before that, and before Persona 4 and 3 really became the multimedia franchises that they are, I felt like Atlas is more of a niche developer. But anyway, they're also known for the extreme difficulty of their games. And if I remember correctly, the first Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2 on Super NES don't even have any kind of cheat code or any kind of reprieve from that. It kind of is what it is. Of course, I'm one of those dreaded 90s children, so I grew up, on the Super NES. Like, for example, Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, those ports, they had like the Scott stuff and cooler stuff, button combinations, which gave you things like, infinite health and infinite credits. Credits, there's another home console game concept that we left behind. But anyway, that was a lot of the fun as a child, because games weren't picked through on the day of release like they are now. Like I just assume now when I buy a game, if that game has been released, every secret about it is already known and on the internet somewhere. Because with very few circumstances, that's the case. Used to, the internet wasn't a big thing, and dumps of games for data miners to sift through wasn't a thing. So it was a very real possibility that there were these cheat codes and other things hidden in there that you could mess with and discover, or somebody could come up with years later. And those things are still found from time to time, but it's getting exceptionally rare. But I'm getting kind of off the point. Let's get back to Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, which is kind of the latest culprit in this. And Shin Megami Tensei 4 did this as well. But I feel like, because just like with what happened to me in the DLC for Ken's Rage 2, it's kind of a lesser niche title, so nobody's really talking about it. So we're going to talk about it today. Paying for cheat codes, the Ellie Goulding effect. So I'm on the DLC page right now. I'm looking at it. You can't see it. You're seeing something else. But if you go to Google and type in Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse DLC, it'll bring you right up to the official page for the game. Now, several of these things are just consequences of our microtransaction culture. You got the 99-cent Asashi and Nozomi set, which lets you dress like characters in the game. You got the green pompadour set for 99 cents, cosmetic item that makes you look like another character in the game. You got some earrings and other things. Just typical aesthetic DLC. And you also have this thing here called a Godslayer needs levels. And according to the description, this is a quest pack. It runs you about $2.99. And the description says, this challenge quest provides a means to level up quickly by gaining EXP increasing items for your party. Now, if you're thinking, okay, maybe this is just some kind of quest where you stand the chance to gain a lot of levels and then you're done. No, this is actually a repeatable quest where all you do is kill enemies that drop items that let you level up instantly. It's essentially a cheat code. It's an unlimited level up cheat is what this is for $2.99. And you can buy this thing the moment you buy the game. You can go into the DLC and buy this thing. It says you must become an official hunter before you access it, which means you have to get to a certain point in the story. You become an official hunter in the story very early on. It's maybe an hour into the game, maybe 2 hours or less. It's very soon, and this is a long game. You start out at essentially at level 1, and you go all the way up to 99, 100, something like that. So you can buy this thing very early on, and essentially cheat your way through the game. So it's essentially a paid cheat. Um, and you go down here. There's another quest called "A Godslayer Needs Demons," and guess what? This challenge quest grants you access to a special demon market where you spend Maka, that's the in-game currency, to buy pre-trained demons. Um, if anybody doesn't know about Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, when they say demons, it's kind of like like a Pokemon RPG, and demon essentially refers to any supernatural being, and your character collects these and fuses them to make them stronger. Um, and this just lets you buy them. So would you imagine if when Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out next month, say Nintendo puts an app where you can just go on there and say, okay, I want a perfect IV, whatever is in the metagame these days. You want a perfect IV Jolteon with XYZ for moves, and you want it to have this personality, and then you just pay them $5 and you get it. Yeah, you could go and be like everybody else and just breed for countless hours and carefully check stats and give certain items and all this to get the perfect battle Pokemon. But what if we just sold it to you? And that's essentially what this is. It just gives you a quest where you can go buy in-game currency, or not buy it, but go get in-game currency and just, buy whatever you need to beat whatever boss. The big part of the Shin Megami Tensei games is fusing and picking out the move sets and passing on qualities to the others to give you an edge in battle. But here you just, for $1.99, forget all that. Just buy them. It's fine. And then we go to our next DLC item for this game. A Godslayer Needs Maka, Maka being the in-game currency. This is a challenge quest that helps you increase your Maka. It's $2.99, and there's not really a whole lot of information about this one. I picked it up just to do a little investigation on it, and it's exactly just like the others. You go to this beach area. It's very small, very easy to kill enemies pop up. You kill them, and it drops items that sell for a ridiculous amount of in-game currency. So you just pretty much go in there, grind for a little bit, come out, and boom, you can afford, summoning new demons or whatever it is you need to do, buy armor or whatever. It just completely negates the cash aspect of the game. No longer do you have to worry about cash inventory management. So this is essentially an infinite money cheat. It's $2.99. Then you go on down, you've got some more cosmetic items from the game. And then here's another one. A Godslayer Needs Apps. App points are essentially what the game uses for what you would consider perks in Skyrim or some other RPG type game. When you level up, you get app points to spend toward apps, which let your character do things like fuse higher levels or get more experience after battle, those types of things. $2.49. It's the exact same thing as the Godslayer Needs Maka. You just go in here and get this and get, items for app points. That's all it is. It's one little quest. It has no story relevance. It's an infinite perks cheat is what it is. And, of course, then you got a few free things. And then finally, after all of that, then you start to see the actual content DLC. One of which is the Inverted Pyramid, which is a challenge quest that unlocks Cleopatra for fusion after you defeated her in battle. I have not played this one. If I had to guess, it's probably pretty difficult as part of the course for optional bosses in SMT games. It's $1.99. So this is actual content, and you're paying less for it than you are infinite money or infinite app points, which is perks to help you get further in the game. And then below this is one called A Godslayer Needs Jewels, which is a quest you can buy to collect jewels. Jewels are a rare in-game item that you can trade for high-tier healing items and other such items. But you can essentially pay for those too. So all of the challenge in the game, the jewels, the fusion, they're essentially selling away not to do it. And it's $2 and $3 for this quest to get some items in the game. It's essentially an infinite items cheat. $2.99. And then below that, you have a few more actual lore things, which are pretty good. And then you have an item cheat, same thing. Um, and then there's one or two more things that you might actually want to get to enjoy story content. But I just think it's sad that we've come to this point where we accept this. You know, SMT is a smaller game, a more niche series. It's pretty difficult. The standard gamer nowadays probably wouldn't touch it. I would be willing to guess most of the COD, FPS, whatever community would not want to touch a game like this. Very difficult, very frustrating at times, and it's made to be obtuse. It's a old school dungeon crawler. But nobody talks about how this game just sells you cheat codes. 5, 10 years ago, this is the stuff that after you beat the game on the hardest level, it would say, hey, here's a code to squeeze some more fun out of the game. Press this to get infinite life or infinite health or unlimited bullets or whatever. This is just becoming more and more commonplace. Like the first game I really remember seeing that this was an issue was Saints Row 3 or 4. I want to say 4 because I'm looking right now at the Steam page and they have the Executive Privilege Pack, which basically just flat out says, yeah, do away with checks and balances and give yourself the power to make the world your own. Cheat your way to a hollow victory today. Um, at what point did this become right? It's really sad to see this go away. Now, of course, I have to admit that they're selling these games, they're making them, they're selling them. Do they have every right to do that? Absolutely, I believe they do. That may be unpopular opinion. They have a right to. Does it make it right? No. Is it a good thing to do? No, probably not. I feel like most cheat codes have a root in being debugger test tools anyway, that they just left in to kind of extend the replay value of the game. So I feel like it's kind of that same argument with day one DLC. It's part of the game. It's something that's already been made. It's not something that some developer is working overtime to bring like a Dawn Guard or a Dragonborn esque DLC to the game. No, it's just something they had lying around and said, hey, why don't we try to sell this to the player to make a quick buck from somebody who either really can't beat the game or just wants to, or somebody that just wants to goof around. I don't know. It's this weird conundrum because it was something we feel like we should get. We should get that. We should have a right to that. Do we have a right to it actually? No, probably not. But should it be there? Is it bad what they're doing nowadays with selling cheat codes? Yeah, I'd say so. It's just a bad practice. It kind of undermines the spirit of gaming and video gaming in general, I think. Used to, the cheat code was a way to milk some extra fun out of something you had already beaten or either you just absolutely could not beat. You look at a couple of NES and Super NES and Genesis games that were legitimately hard and required you to finish the game with X amount of continues and no regenerating life. And so you had those cheat codes as kind of like a last resort, and you could get through the game without cheating. It was kind of like an accomplishment. But now they've taken that all away, and it's really sad to see that go away. It's kind of this, you got to pay to get through now. And I realize I'm not the first person to talk about paying for things you used to get free, probably cheat codes included. But now it's starting to sneak its way into even niche titles like SMT that you would think would be, I don't know, they're a little bit more for the gamers. I guess it's kind of like you expect the big EA and the big corporate bigwig to charge you, but when your buddy tries to nickel and dime you, it just hurts a little bit more. Where do we go from here? I don't know. There's not much you can do except don't buy it. Speak out against it when you can, I say. It's going to keep coming up as long as people keep buying it, myself included. I guess I'm part of the problem. I usually don't. The Shin Megami Tensei thing was really the first one I'd bought, and that was more to slate curiosity more than anything because I just dropped $10 to get DLC for the game. So I said, well, I might as well check this out and see if it's actually what I think it is, so I can do a video about it if it is. And it was. So good job, Tensei. You're part of the problem. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to shut my channel down and sell my collection on Craigslist.